Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bibbles and today I'm going to be discussing vehicle boss fights in Skylanders Superchargers. Vehicle boss fights are typically frowned upon within the community, so my goal today is to play through them all and determine whether or not they deserve the hate that they get. But before we get into that, I want to lay out some ground rules. I'm only covering vehicle boss fights in the main story mode, so no racing bosses will be included. Also, the Darkness boss fight in the Spellpunk library isn't being covered either. This is mostly because of the fact that I'd have to play through the whole of Spellpunk library to get there, and I'm honestly not bothered to do that. Finally, these bosses were fought on Nightmare mode, because let's be honest, Superchargers is stupidly easy when you're actually paying attention. So with all that out of the way, we can move on to our first boss fight, Lord Stratosphere. Lord Stratosphere is honestly nothing special. He's got two attacks, one where he sends out lightning bolts and one where he fires balls of lightning. His fight only took me about 3.5 minutes, and the only reason it takes that long is because he sends out minions to attack for him. This is my favourite boss fight in terms of setting. I really like how it looks, and while yes, the long, essentially desolate road you drive on is pretty bland, I actually think it makes the fight a lot less unnecessarily complex like most other fights. Overall, I think this boss fight is okay. It doesn't have anything interesting that really sets him apart from other bosses, and it's relatively short, but the setting and lack of unnecessary complexity makes this fight just that little bit more enjoyable. When I tell you that I struggle with the Money One boss fight, I mean it. It took me 5 Skylanders to beat him. And this is what I mean by Superchargers being easy if you're paying attention. I went into this fight thinking it'd be a drag and nothing more, but man did Moneybone wipe the floor with me. The gimmick of this fight is pretty cool on paper, but it ended up being nothing more than a time waster that padded the boss fight. The Shield Striker is incredibly useful in this fight however, as the blast from the shield move kills all the chompies in the fight almost instantly. The only good thing I could say about this boss fight is that Moneybone is a really cool character, though his robot just reminds me of the fake Crash one from the Thumpa Wumpa Islands. If you couldn't tell already, I think that almost everything in this boss fight is bad, except for the boss itself, and I definitely see why so many people dislike him. It's crazy how Cluck is a much easier boss fight, yet it's easily the worst and most annoying out of all that I'm covering today. The chickens are so incredibly frustrating to guide, and the fact that it only took me under 2.5 minutes to beat him should really say something. I genuinely have nothing to say about this boss fight because what is there to say? It's boring, quick, and uses the most annoying mechanic in the entire game. He has one attack that's incredibly easy to dodge and occasionally gives you a chicken which you have to push into a different hole every time. The rest is left to his incredibly mediocre minions which I had absolutely zero problems with. Next up is the Dreadroller. I actually don't mind this fight. The only problem I have with it is the enemies that come before it and the fact that I died before I could even reach the fight itself. But other than that, I found this boss fight to be enjoyable. Like Lord Stratosphere, it's nothing too special, but it works. That's a lot better than trying too hard to become a Captain Cluck. I think the fact that it's literally just the Trolling Thunder from Trap Team is a pretty bad decision, but then again, only 3 out of the 7 Superchargers vehicle bosses are original, so it doesn't really matter. Just don't even. Turbo Teeth is genuinely insufferable. If it weren't for Captain Cluck existing, this would be the worst boss fight in the entire game. I don't know what happened, but it seems like every time we got close to Turbo Teeth, I just instantly died. The fact that there's enemies too kind of helps, but they're not necessary considering how tough of a fight Turbo Teeth puts up on their own. I don't have any footage of Rekisaurus, but I don't mind them. I think it's a pretty solid fight, and it might even be my favourite of them all. The only real annoying thing about the fight is the fact that if you go on a boost pad by accident, it'll send you pretty far. But other than that, I think this is a genuinely fun and good fight. The Darkness fight is honestly a huge letdown. I don't say this because it's in a vehicle, I feel like it was a given that it was going to be in a vehicle considering Chaos was a normal fight. My main problem is that it feels like a waste of time. It takes so long to do anything in this fight and it's honestly not even that hard. I died because I got bored and zoned out, not because the fight was difficult. It takes ages to get to the Darkness, and you only get a few seconds to attack before he moves away and you have to repeat the process over again. The middle part where he teleports you to the area with his minions felt like it was only there to change the scenery and didn't matter to the fight at all. This fight is extremely underwhelming and feels like an average Superchargers mid-game fight rather than the final one. So there we have it. That's every vehicle boss in Skylanders Superchargers. But do I think they're bad? For the most part, yeah. The lows that these fights have are really low. They have a tendency to drag on, have dumb, annoying mechanics, and most of the time make me lose interest. Not even the fights I liked were able to shy away from that. However, I don't think that Stratosphere, Dreadroller, or Wreckosaurus deserve to be called bad, since they were about as enjoyable to me as any other normal boss. But anyways, that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed, then consider liking and subscribing, as this channel is pretty small. Seeing people enjoy my content makes me motivated to do it more often, hence why I haven't uploaded to YouTube in about a year. And if you have any ideas on what videos you'd like me to make, feel free to comment. I'm always down for suggestions.